You're watching Luntha TV and it's time for our 7:30 news bulletin. My name is Tandiwe Mzamara. First, the headlines. Pope Leo XIV warns against approaching Jesus in a superficial way. Youth Summit Manifesto calls for greater youth participation in governance and decision-making. Citizens for Credible Elections to stage peaceful protests on Thursday, calling for MAG chairperson and CEO to step down. And in other news, South African court halts Lungu burial pending legal process. We have the details to these stories and more, to stay with us. Pope Leo XIV has warned Christians against approaching Jesus in a superficial way without truly believing in his power. The pontiff was speaking during his weekly general audience in St. Peter's on Wednesday when he was speaking about the passage in the Gospel of Mark about Jesus healing the woman with a bleeding issue and raising another man's daughter from death. We have more details on this Krishna report read by Charity Chilanga.
The Pope in his teaching today again considered the healings of Jesus as a sign of hope, saying in him, there is a strength that we too can experience when we enter into a relationship with his person. He explained that a very widespread ailment of our time is the fatigue of living, whereby reality seems to us to be too complex, burdensome and difficult to face, so much so that we switch off and fall asleep in the delusion that upon waking, things will be different. He went on to say that reality has to be first and that together with Jesus, we can do it well. Turning to the two figures in the Gospel of Mark, the Pope noted that the silent and anonymous conquers her fears, touches the heart of Jesus with her hands, considered unclean because of her illness, and she is immediately healed because of her faith. In the meantime, the father receives the news that his daughter is dead. Jesus tells him not to be afraid and just have faith. He then goes to the house and seeing that everyone is weeping and wailing, he tells them the child is not dead but asleep. Saying Jesus after shows us that not only does he heal from every illness, but he also awakens from the death. In conclusion, the Pope explained that although in life there are moments of disappointment and discouragement, and there is also the experience of death, we should learn from that woman and from that father to go to Jesus, for he can heal us, revive us, and he is our hope.
Minister of Finance Simplex Chichola Banda has reaffirmed government's trust in the youth, highlighting President Lazarus Chakwera's commitment to empowering young people. Banda made the remarks during the opening ceremony of the Youth Summit for Democracy and Human Rights at Crossroads Hotel in Lilongwe. We have more details on this report filed by Patrick Pupa.
The Youth Summit for Democracy and Human Rights has urged political parties to prioritize youth issues as the country approaches the September 2025 general elections. During the summit's launch in Lilongwe, the organization unveiled its manifesto calling on political parties to incorporate youth policies. Minister of Finance Simplex Chichola Banda, presenting Vice President Dr. Michael Osi, expressed the government's confidence in the young generation, highlighting key youth appointments in various sectors.
I have assured the youth here that Malay government is creating conducive environment for youth participation in the economic arena. And I think that's the message that I brought here. I also brought the message of calling them for action. The time for them has come for their participation, because obviously sometimes the young people.
Meanwhile, Speaker of the Malawi Parliament, Catherine Gotani-Hara, encouraged young people to actively participate in the upcoming elections.
Clearly, they are giving us their plan, their vision as a country. As you know, they constitute almost 60% of our population. And it means we can't do anything as a country without them. We need to include them in whatever policies, in whatever we're doing as a country, as a government. So first, let me congratulate them for this very important day.
Mwandida Teu, coordinator for the Youth Summit for Democracy and Human Rights, importance of youth engagement in strengthening democracy, especially with the polls scheduled for September 16, 2025.
And the whole idea is that young people should be able to have corrective views, and policy makers should be able to implement what young people are calling for. Maybe just to set a tone is that the National Youth Manifesto was developed through consultations with young people. So from Chitipa to Nsanje, we made sure that we ask young people, what is it that you are envisioning in the next 5 years to be done? So this is a collective document that has policy demands, challenges what young people are meeting, and possibly they are not just saying we are meeting challenges, but they are providing solutions in terms of the policy demands.
The summit brings together 200 participants, including youth leaders, policymakers, civil society organizations, development partners, and private sector players.
The Lilongwe District Health Office has reported a total of 30 Mpox cases within the district, with the majority of these cases concentrated in urban areas. According to Richard Mvula, Senior Health Promotion Officer for Lilongwe, the demographic analysis of the cases reveals a notable trend. The majority of those affected are males between the ages of 16 and 40. This age and gender distribution suggests that this group may be particularly vulnerable to the disease, highlighting the need for targeted interventions and awareness campaigns to mitigate the spread of Mpox in these communities. We have more details on this report, followed by Gift Kalunga.
In response to the rapid spread of Mpox in the region, Richard Mvula, Senior Health Promotion Officer at the Lilongwe District Health Office, has issued a pressing appeal to residents, emphasizing the need to strict adherence to preventive measures to curb the favored transmission of the disease. He has argued the public to take proactive steps to protect themselves and their loved ones, thereby playing a crucial role in containing the outbreak and preventing its spread within the community.
Yes, indeed, for Lilongwe, we're still having more Mpox cases. As we are talking for today, there are 30 cases. The majority of the cases are males compared to women, but also the age group is the most productive one because the majority of them are ranging from 16 to 40 years. The youngest which we have identified so far is an 80-year-old girl, and the oldest is a 52-year-old man. This disease has spread across 9 facilities, urban within as well as the rural, but the majority of the cases are in the urban area.
According to the Lilongwe District Health Office, the age range of Mpox cases in the district spans from an 8-year-old girl, who is the youngest case, to a 32-year-old man, who is the oldest case. For Luntha News, this is Gift Kalonga.
Balaga District Council, through One Health Project, has managed to vaccinate about 4,000 dogs against rabies vaccination. Bosco Shenkonda, who is implementing One Health Project in government departments coordinating person, was speaking at Zambani Lodge in Balaga on Tuesday during District Executive Committee meeting, where he presented a research based on dog vaccinations progress in the district. Andrew Nandolo has filed this report.
Rabies is one of the tropical neglected diseases that claims about 59,000 lives annually. Bosco said if government, stakeholders, and community work together in eradicating rabies, Malawi can be rabies-free in the near future. Bosco said the One Health project that rolled out in Balaka in 2023 has proved to be effective, as it has vaccinated about 4,000 dogs which translate into 77.3% compared to 30% government initial target.
Here in Balaka, which is what we're presenting today, we're doing well with the project. So to start with, before we came in to support the government with the vaccination campaign, we had a 0.5% vaccination coverage, which is way below the global target of 70%. And in our first year of implementation, we managed to get to 58%, which was also slightly below. But last year, when we improved our interventions and engagement with different stakeholders, we've managed to get to 77% vaccination coverage, which is very great and a huge milestone for the country and a huge lesson for us as the Ministry of Agriculture as well.
During the same meeting, Herbert Mwangomo, who is Center for Environmental Policy and Advocacy Executive Director, said in every project, there is need to work with government and the community in a transparent manner to avoid mistrust among leaders. He said, through the strengthened governance of the extractive industries in Malawi for Just Energy Transition Project, his organization is geared to sensitize the communities around the mining area in Balaka and Palombe the importance of promoting inclusive dialogue and capacity building of different stakeholders.
The project is called Strengthening the Governance of the Extractive Industries in Malawi for a Just Energy Transition. In short, we are talking about promoting inclusive dialogue, but also capacity building of different stakeholders that are involved with the issues of mining, specifically in Balaka district and in a particular location where we have an operation of mining activities to do with limestone.
Rebe's vaccination research-based project was being conducted in Balaka for its outstanding performance in a similar project, and the Center for Environmental Policy Advocacy wants to implement their project in the district for the mining activities taking place at Ngonga area. Reporting for Balaka, this is Andrew Nandolo.
You're still watching news coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center, and today with me, Tandi Wemzumara. But before we proceed, here's another look at the headlines. Pope Leo XIV warns against approaching Jesus in a superficial way. Youth Summit Manifesto calls for greater youth participation in governance and decision-making. Citizens for Credible Elections to stage peaceful protest on Thursday, calling for MAGE chairperson and CEO to step down. And in other news, South African court halts Lungu burial pending legal process. The National Planning Commission, NPC, has commended political parties in Malawi for aligning their manifestos with the country's long-term development plan, Malawi 2063. According to NPC spokesperson Tom Kanje, it is the Commission's duty to ensure that political parties' manifestos are aligned with the vision. We have more details on this report, filed by Manuel Shiucha.
As Malawi prepares for the general election on September 16, 2025, the NPC is working to ensure that political parties' manifestos are aligned with the Malawi 2063 vision. According to NPC spokesperson Tom Kanje, out of 30 political parties, 26 have registered to participate in the upcoming elections, while 4 individuals are contesting as independent candidates. Kanje has emphasized that NPC continued collaboration with political parties to ensure that their manifestos reflect the country's long-term development goals.
Under the Political Parties Act, as revised and approved in Parliament in 2022, it is mandatory for any political party that is already registered but wants to contest in the presidential election of the country to have a manifesto that is certified by the National Planning Commission as aligned to the Malawi 2063 national vision.
The alignment of political parties' manifesto with the Malawi 2063 vision is considered to be a significant step towards achieving national development aspirations. It reflects a collective commitment to the country's priority and ensures consistency in policy direction. Malawi 2063 serves as a strategic framework, guiding line to the country's development, focusing on key areas such as economic growth, human capital development, and good governance. By aligning their manifesto manifest this vision, political parties contribute to a unified national agenda. The NPC role in promoting this alignment is seen as essential to fostering inclusive development and ensuring that elected leaders are guided by a shared vision. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Chuocha.
Still on elections, Citizens for Credible Elections is set for its Thursday's peaceful demonstrations in the country's 4 districts of Lilongwe, Luntha, Mzuzu, and Mangoshi starting 9:30 in the morning. Through the demonstrations, the group is calling for the resignation or removal of Malawi Electoral Commission MAKE Chairperson Justice Annabel Mtalimanja and MAKE Chief Elections Officer Andrew Mbesi, whom they accuse of lacking transparency and undermining the integrity of the electoral process by denying requests for an independent audit of the electoral management system. The demonstrations will be held under the theme "Let's Prepare Democracy by Safeguarding the Electoral Process." We have more details on this report found by Rosemary Chikaonda.
Citizens for Credible Elections will hold peaceful demonstrations tomorrow from 9:30 a.m. demanding MAKE Chairperson Annabel Mtalimanja and MAKE Chief Elections Officer Andrew Mbesi to resign or be fired because they're not being transparent in their electoral processes. The elector for Citizens for Credible Elections, Sylvester Namiwa, said the demonstrations is for MAKE to be transparent in the electoral processes and why it rejected an independent audit of the electoral management system.
We as Malawians, we are not ready to entertain any attempts to stifle the will of the people. Nonetheless, by demanding an independent audit into the electoral management system, we are not asking for too much. Neither are the stakeholders asking for too much. This is a basic principle of good governance. Furthermore, if you check in the Republican Constitution, that is the very basic foundation in which the condition to continue exercising state power is emanating.
Earlier this month, on 7 June, MAKE rejected a request from political parties for an independent audit of its electoral management system.
A 15-year partnership between Chibuku Wood Products Limited and the Chinguluwe Grain and Legume Association, based in Chinguluwe EPA in Salima District, was recognized on Tuesday with a trophy presentation from the National Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASME. The farmers have been cultivating sorghum, which they supply to Chibuku products. According to the association's treasurer, Gelson Mbiga, the relationship with Chibuku has remained strong and cooperative since 2015. Chibuku Products Central Region Operations Manager Bata Achunga notes that sorghum is the primary ingredient in Chibuku beer, making sorghum farmers key stakeholders in the company's production value chain. We have more details on this report filed by Robert Edward.
This year, these 130 farmers forming Chinguluwe Grain and Legume Association, which include 40 women and 70 men, are expected to pocket at least 66 million kwacha after selling to Chibuku Products Limited their 74 metric tons of maize grown under the relationship arrangement. Recognizing the pact between Chibuku Products Limited and the association, which has stood the test of 15 years of understanding each other, Chibuku Products Limited on Tuesday engaged the farmers with a membership certificate from National Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASME, and ensures the farmers of the available market.
As Chibuku Products Limited, this is actually part of our corporate social responsibility, whereby we actually give the farmers free seed. They don't pay anything. We also, as Chibuku Products Limited, attach the farmers to ADDs, agriculture ADDs, to help them with the agricultural practices so that they can produce sorghum of good quality and also the quantities that are required.
The engagement also created a room for the Changalume Association to air out concerns of prices and transport costs, among others. But according to the association's treasurer,
Gelsom Mpika, the relationship between the farmers and Chibuku products has been warm and cordial. Some of the challenges, including access to technologies, will now be taken care by the NASME, as the association has now been given NASME membership certificate courtesy of Chibuku Products Limited. NASME's executive member, Dorothy Chingaibe, encouraged women participation in the group, which she says helps to reduce gender-based violence, among others. Changalume Grain and Legume Association started in 2005, but started working with the Chibuku Products Limited in 2010. The largest harvest since the relationship with Chibuku is in 2022, when Changalume harvested 99.6 metric tons of sorghum. This year, at 900 kwacha per kg farm gate price, the group is expected to get more than 66 million kwacha from their 74 metric tons. For their 4 breweries in Lilongwe, Luntha, and Suza and Mangochi, the company need 2,000 metric tons of sorghum, which is around 2 million kgs a year, but the farmers in the country only contribute up to 75% of the Chibuku's demands. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Now, in other news, the South African High Court in Pretoria has halted the burial of former Zambian President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, pending a legal determination on whether he should be repatriated to Zambia or not. The Zambian government filed a lawsuit against Lungu's family, seeking to stop the burial in South Africa and instead have him buried in Zambia with full state honors. We have more details on this report read by Charide Chinanga.
The court's decision came after the Attorney General of Zambia, Mulilo Kabesha, filed an urgent application arguing that a state funeral is a national event governed by law and Lungu's burial in South Africa would override national interests. The government claims that even if Lungu had expressed a wish not to receive a state funeral, such a preference cannot override the national interest in honoring a former head of state. The court has directed Zambia's legal representatives to file supporting documents by 3rd July, while the Lungu family has until July 4th to respond. The case is expected to resume on July 18th, leaving the late president's final resting place undecided as legal and political tensions continue. Early on Wednesday, a funeral mass was held in Johannesburg, where mourners, including family members, political allies, and diaspora Zambians, gathered despite their unresolved dispute over his burial. This marks the first time Zambia has faced a cross-border conflict over the burial of a former head of state.
That concludes our news bulletin, but before we go, here's a reminder of our headlines. Pope Leo XIV warns against approaching Jesus in a superficial way. Youth Summit Manifesto calls for greater youth participation in governance and decision-making. Citizens for Credible Elections to stage peaceful protest on Thursday, calling for MAGE chairperson and CEO to step down. And in other news, South African court halts Lungu burial pending legal process. My name is Tandy Wenzamara. Continue following the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. And of course, do remember that you can also catch us on social media. We are on Facebook at Luntha Television, and on YouTube we are at Luntha TV Official. Goodbye for now, and do stay safe.